Tonight, Bruce Highway upgrades on hold.
A Yeppoon mother's plea to fast-track her daughter's surgery. 3
best friends move into their purpose-built forever home.
And the Yeppoon show set up and ready to go.
This is 7 News with Brough and Joanne Desmond.
Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us.
Good evening.
Queensland's most notorious stretch of road will receive $250 million each year towards improving its safety. But the Brough Highway won't see the additional funding until 2027, with the LNP raising concerns over current cost blowouts.
It's a long overdue promise to repair and strengthen the backbone of Queensland roads.
We've got some outstanding projects on the Brough Highway right across the state. We've got from the south of Cairns right down to just north of Brisbane.
The state government has committed to annual safety upgrades on the Brough Highway as part of a 15-year plan. But the significant funding won't come into effect for another 3 years.
Let's be clear, this is a jointly funded highway from all the way along its length, and we've got to work with the federal government and their funding constraints.
The LNP has slammed the overspending on current major projects on the Brough.
Rockhampton Ring Road, $665 million budget blowout.
And it's calling on the Miles government to take responsibility for the delays.
It is a real issue for Queenslanders because it's costing Queenslanders money. It's the Queensland taxpayers that are footing the bill for these blowouts.
Increased construction costs, limited labour supply, extreme weather events are all playing their part in these. I've made it a priority to keep Queenslanders informed, to be really transparent about cost pressures when our projects are facing them going forward.
Shana Macbeth, 7 News.
A Yeppoon mother is pleading with Rockhampton-based hospital to fast-track surgery for her 9-year-old daughter. She claims she's been waiting for the procedure for more than 5 years.
Carlia Burns' daughter has been on a waiting list for tonsil and adenoid removal surgery since she was 2.
Surgery that's stopping her from, going to school and having a more healthy life. She's sick, general cold and flu. It just hits her like a ton of bricks.
The now 9-year-old is on a Category 2 elective surgery waiting list at Rockhampton Base Hospital, where only 34% of people needing surgery were treated within clinically recommended times. There were 850 patients waiting for surgery as of March.
Well, it's shameful that we've got several hundred of these cases that are on Queensland Health's books right now. This little girl, as a Category 2 patient, should have been seen within 90 days.
Central Queensland Hospital and Health Service CEO Lisa Blacker says we provide an exceptional level of free healthcare, but we are facing increased pressure, adding that an ear, nose and throat specialist has been recruited. Ms Blackler couldn't say when the specialist is due to start, but admitted that it is a challenge to attract specialists to regional areas.
That doesn't help the people on these long waiting lists.
They've literally said no one wants to work here because we're in a rural area. And I'm like, well, that's not my problem.
The Hospital and Health Service says it has strategies ongoing and underway to improve and sustain medical coverage, despite more than 65% of patients in Category 2 waiting longer than they should. Christian Penny, 7 News.
Regional Queensland is set to benefit from an $18 billion capital investment as part of the state government's $107 billion Big Build plan. But the opposition says the scheme is more blowout than build.
Government ministers fronted the cameras this morning to announce the foundation for what's being dubbed Queensland's Golden Decade.
It is the biggest building program to be delivered in regional Queensland ever.
The new $107 billion Big Build aims to upgrade the state's healthcare facilities, housing, transport and schools.
50,000 direct jobs will be delivered outside of Greater Brisbane. That will support the growth and development of regional Queensland.
We need to do this because Queensland is going to grow over the next decade by about 1 million Queenslanders.
The plan's expected to deliver more than $27 billion in capital works in the next financial year, with more than $18 billion invested into regional Queensland. The opposition takes a dimmer view of the big build.
Queensland train manufacturing program, $2.4 billion blowout, and Rockhampton Ring Road, $665 million budget blowout.
And other regional projects like the Beerburrum to Nambour rail line's $500 million cost escalation. The Treasurer remains upfront about the setbacks.
They're all significant projects, but there are good reasons for those, and we've talked about those previously.
Jamie Tenikoff, 7 News.
The Yeppoon Show kicks off tomorrow and is expected to draw a big crowd this weekend. This year's theme is permaculture and aims to highlight how we interact with nature.
We're bringing in plants and stuff from Ross O'Reilly's, and they will have TV set up and people there talking about how to grow stuff, what to do, how they use it in the restaurants.
Organisers say there will be plenty to see and do, from fashion parades to blacksmithing and also petting zoos. The gates open at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday.
Enjoy it, won't you now? 3 best friends are the delighted recipients of a new home in Rockhampton, custom built for their special disability needs. The Endeavour Foundation revealed the $700,000 facility today as part of its My Home, My Life program.
Excited and eager to move in, Gwyneth, Edwina and Laurel have picked out their rooms and are ready to put on the finishing touches. Their new home is part of the Endeavour Foundation's My Home, My Life initiative and features wide doorways, level adjustable benches and living spaces for a support person. The organisation has already spent $33 million delivering 65 homes in Queensland that are platinum level standards.
This is our newest one of those. What that means is that people living with disability are able to live in a home where they can access and live as independently as possible.
Laurel says she can't wait to have her best friend Edwina in the room next door.
Edwina? Yeah? Yes. And you can chat all night? Yeah. Ready.
Peter Burton's daughter has been a resident in Endeavour Homes and he says the level of care and consideration they offer is second to none.
The service at Endeavour Foundation has evolved over years.
Christian Penny, 7 News.
The RSPCA has launched this year's Operation Wanted to help pet owners get their animals desexed. 150 veterinary practices across Queensland have signed up, giving residents 20% off the cost of the procedure with a dog or cat.
Prevention is better to avoid these unwanted litters, so it also helps with lots of behavioural issues, medical issues, roaming.
Since 2014, 200,000 pets have been desexed during the operation, helping to reduce the amount of abandoned animals.
Conservationists are hailing a milestone with a group of critically endangered wombats released for the first time in another part of the state. The northern hairy-nosed species was brought back from the brink of extinction here in central Queensland.
It's been a monumental effort for these wombats not only to survive but thrive.
In the 1980s, when conservation efforts began, there was only 35 northern hairy-nosed wombats left on the planet.
Now, for the first time, the species is branching out to the southwest. 15 northern hairy-nosed wombats have spent their first month at Powrunner State Forest.
By translocating them to a new site, we're really taking a big step in their conservation, making sure that we're not going to have a risk of extinction.
Numbers at Epping Forest in central Queensland recently hit 400.
Where we hold about 95% of the world's population.
By establishing a population in other areas, the endangered marsupials will be less prone to predators and natural disasters.
They're still one of the most endangered animals in the world, so we're a long way from saving the species yet.
Being nocturnal, the job of moving them is a tough one. It will take years to translocate and settle up to 60 at their new home. And they're a hefty package.
It's also the challenge of transporting them. So a large animal like that, we can't transport many of them, so probably about 4 a night is the max that we can do.
The secure reserve near St George isn't open to the public, but it will ensure the species has a more positive outlook. Josh van Staden, 7 News.
Ahead tonight in 7 News, a concerning spike in the number of pets ingesting illegal substances.
And 4 brothers combat farm thefts with custom-made security.
Central Queensland turns to 7 News to keep up to date on local issues, and we want you to be a part of it. If there's something happening in your street, your suburb, we want to know about it. Send us a message or drop us an email.
Thanks for joining us here on 7. Well, vets have reported a disturbing spike in the number of pets presenting for treatment after ingesting illegal substances like cannabis. Experts say owners should be aware of the potentially deadly impacts of drugs on dogs.
Doped up and on the brink of death, there's been an increasing number of animals arriving at emergency after being exposed to drugs.
Usually we see an array of different toxicities, but marijuana toxicity is definitely on the rise.
Dr. Tess Bugler says the spike could be linked to a rise in medicinal cannabis use.
So as accessibility increases, so does our toxic exposure for our companion animals.
Dogs are usually the ones to sniff their way into trouble, which is a concern for owners.
The idea of her eating something that could make her sick or, cause her death or something is absolutely terrifying to me.
There was a time where I was, when all those poisoning was happening.
Majority of the cases are from accessibility in their own home.
Vets have also seen cases linked to public places, such as dog beaches, parks or sporting grounds. It's prompted an urgent reminder to everyone to beware of what your furry friends are getting into.
So the neurological signs are what we notice first. So they're quite ataxic, so they have a drunken sort of stilted gait, and then they have urinary incontinence.
If you spot anything unusual about their behaviour, the best advice is to get your pet checked and treated professionally. And fast.
We really need to come in urgently to an emergency vet.
Rebecca Jensen, 7 News.
17 new corrections officers have joined the front line at the Capricornia Correctional Centre. They've just completed an intensive 10-week training program, learning conflict management, tactical skills and prison policies. The new recruits have backgrounds in nursing, personal training, truck driving and youth work.
4 Queensland brothers have created their own business to help fill a gap in farming security. Landwatch uses tailored solar-powered cameras to allow farmers to keep an eye on their property anywhere, anytime.
Neatly packed in a box, this security system will soon be keeping watch over a rural cattle farm.
We put together a bit of equipment that can help station owners keep a better eye on their property.
Landwatch is run by 4 brothers who've created sturdy, solar-powered security options.
We realised that farms don't have mains power a lot of the time, so that's when I started developing all the solar gear. A lot of the things that we do here are really designed for the outback. Even using like big galvanised brackets rather than any plastic, and using like cameras that are going to survive in 50-degree heat or negative 20-degree heat, because we've got it all in Australia.
The systems are in demand as crime rates continue to climb.
It's hard to protect every fence line, so we're developing some really great strategies to help the farmer keep an eye on every area that might be vulnerable. The big 3 would be machinery theft, stock theft and fuel theft.
They can also monitor stock and water levels on dams.
They can be put literally anywhere in the country and then be viewed on your phone from literally anywhere in the world.
The farm tech costs around $3,500 and can be delivered direct to your door.
We do postal systems as well. There's a lot of different variants in the postal system.
To find out more, visit the Landwatch website. Rebecca Jensen, 7 News.
All right, what's happening in sport? That's what we're just about to find out.
Well, let's get into it, Dave. Key Dolphin mate back for our Capras, eh?
Yeah, that's right, Brough. Anthony Milford will once again wear the sky blue and maroon tomorrow as Central Queensland welcomes Tweed to town. We'll have more on that next. And the Capras, who were part of that mighty Maroons win last night, the Women's Origin Series is headed to a decider. And welcome back. Well, CQ Capra Emma Packey won't forget her first Origin in a hurry after the Queenslanders ensured there will be a decider in the first best of 3 Women's Origin Series. Down for most of the match, our mighty Maroons found a way to dig deep and seal an epic victory with a 69th minute field goal.
Cold and wet conditions greeted our two Capras and the rest of the players in front of a record women's crowd of over 27,000 in Newcastle. It was a must-win for Queensland, but the Sky Blues took a 6-0 lead into the break. But after half-time, Queensland struck first.
Brough, Regano, cut out pass to Zolka, gets there! Queensland scores!
On the back of a one-on-one strip by Jess Surgis, New South Wales then went ahead by 4 with 11 minutes left. But you never write off for Maroon's team. With scores locked at 10-all and less than 2 minutes on the clock, Queensland pulled off the miracle.
Upton goes to Brough, has time, drills it! What a kick! Brough!
I knew I had to pull the trigger that set, so honestly I just spoke to Taz and Ali and Meeks, and we just wanted to get it to the spot where I wanted to take the field goal, and we got it there, and I'm just glad the ball actually bounced in the wet.
I actually threw the worst pass to her possible in the wet, and she still pulled it off. She's absolutely incredible.
The Queensland vice-captain drew on the disappointment of their Game 1 loss to get over the line.
We just had to stay patient. I think that's what we didn't do in that first game, is trust our process and stay patient, but we really needed to stick at it, and we got there in the end.
It was a proud night for Central Queensland. Rocky's Belinda Sharp was the referee, and the national anthem was sung by Lorinda May Merrypaw. Brad Villiers, 7 News.
Dolphin Anthony Milford will make his Capras return tomorrow when CQ runs out onto Rugby Park and takes on Tweed Heads. It's where the Capras will be looking to claim back-to-back wins for the first time since round 2.
Conditions have been treacherous at their new home of Rugby Park in recent weeks, but the prospect of a fast, dry field is something that the coach is looking forward to as the Capras look to go back-to-back.
We've had some really tough games out there over the last, since we moved out there in tough conditions. Hopefully it's a dry pitch and, we get a really good, entertaining game of football. We're just trying to chase a bit of consistency at the moment. We haven't been able to put, two good performances together, and it's sort of shown in our results, win one, lose one.
And it won't be easy as the CQ side comes up against a dangerous Tweed Heads outfit that's sitting 7th on the ladder.
Tweed moved the footy really well. I think probably one of the best attacking sides in the comp, and, can attack you from anywhere, and they've got really, individual players that can hurt you also.
The squad has been bolstered by the inclusion of several NRL Dolphins players, including Edric Lee, Robert Jennings, Ryan Jackson and one Anthony Milford.
They asked Anthony if he wanted to go back and play, and he wants to, and he wants to come back and put the Capras jersey on, so really excited to get Anthony back playing this weekend.
Kick-off is 6:30 tomorrow night. Brad Villiers, 7 News.
And round 8 of AFL Capricornia will see the red-hot Premiers take on a Kangaroo side looking for their first win of the season. That's tomorrow at Swan Park. In the round's other games, the Panthers host another undermanned Bits outfit. And in what looks like it'll be the match of the round, the second-place Glenmore hosts the third-place Suns at Stenlake Park. Well, even that wet weather couldn't wash away that Queensland spirit last night. What a win, and bring on Game 3 in Townsville.
Oh, that was good stuff. Yep. Thank you, Dave.
All right, we'll stay with us after the break. Livio joins us, and he'll have all the weekend weather details.
G'day, Livio Regano with tonight's weather. Cruisy times at the Weather Bureau as dry season finally kicks in for 2024. An endless succession of clear wintry nights and blissfully sunny days with no rain for the next whole week. Temperatures today across our neck of the woods. In Rockhampton, the daily range was 7 to 23 degrees. Gladstone hit a high of 24. Biloela rose from near freezing to a top of 21. On the satellite loop, it's easy to see the shape of the upper trough and low. It's that big coil of cloud twisting into the low which is now just offshore. Of course, all of Queensland is clear except the Granite Belt, which seems to be the last place remaining in the state that's able to get showers in an upslope wind coming from the southwest. They're very light, but there's broken cloud, and I can't say for sure that it's going to stay dry there. Everywhere else looks like open misère. There's no other way it could be. Well, let's look at today's chart. We can see that the low is digging its heels just off the coast near Sydney, cold front extending from it. That represents the cool change. And in its wake, we have a fairly deep flow of quite cold south-southwesterlies pushing into Queensland, resulting in widespread frost around the southern interior and very cold nights even in the tropical inland. On tomorrow's chart, the low digs even further and the wind strengthens slightly, but not too much. So another classic winter pattern high over central Australia. On the outlook chart, it stays that way for several days. Nothing but sunshine as these broad southwesterlies dry off the land continue to dominate Queensland. Now the latest from BOM, boating forecast for Capricornia waters, south to southwest winds, 10 to 15 knots tomorrow, same again on Sunday. Still no change on Monday, would you believe? High tide starting to get later in the day. Still pretty big given we've just had new moon, but remember in winter the biggest high tide's always at night, so careful where you park. For the Capricornia district, a sunny day after some frost in the southwest. Gladstone 23 degrees, Rocky 7 tonight, 23 tomorrow, Billawheeler 3 to 22, Yeppoon 21. Central Highlands and Coalfields, sunny after some frost in the south. Emerald 6 to 22 degrees, Claremont 3 to 22, Moranbah 24. Looking ahead for Rocky, barely a cloud in the sky for the next 7 days and not so much as a drop of rain. Temperatures gradually rising to reach the high 20s by Wednesday, ahead of a cool change on Thursday. Here's a Friday feel-good photo from Homebush. I'm pleased I instantly saw the same thing as the photographer, a set of eyebrows looking kind of startled, almost giving a wink of acknowledgement that the sun's either going up or going down. Thanks Donna Ricciardi for sending that one. Have a fab weekend one and all. Catch you Monday. Now it's back to the team.
Yeah, good on you, Liv. Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for your company, folks. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you Monday.
And a reminder, you can watch a replay of our news on the 7plus app, or you can catch up on our page, 7news.com.au. And from all of us, have a great weekend. Good night.
Good night.